Well, good morning, everybody. We have already been in this room for a while and chatting away and networking and so forth. So you know why you're here. You're here for the 1 million by 1 million Global Virtual Accelerator. This is the first and only of its kind. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. And this is the 455th free mentoring roundtable. That's a lot of roundtables, don't you think? We've been doing these since the fall of 2008, and it's 11 years of roundtables, and that's quite something, isn't it? The event is being recorded. You will have a recording available after the call on YouTube, and all prior roundtable recordings are available on YouTube in our channel, 1M1M Roundtables. You'll find a lot of learning material there as well. On Twitter, we are at 1M1M and at Stromana. Please follow us. There's a lot of interesting content that we publish. And our hashtag is 1M1M for today's call. So please feel free to tweet with 1M1M. These are the call-in instructions. You're very welcome to continue calling in, and I will, see you. Just let us know that you're calling in. As soon as we see you on the call, we will start roll calling. On the entrepreneur pitches, I just want to set a few expectations, and this is about all discussions today. This is a safe working session. You can talk to me about anything that you feel stuck on or you're having difficulty with, and I will be very happy to, discuss whatever I think is the right thing to do to remove your roadblock and accelerate your business. There's no other agenda besides helping you move right along. If you disagree with my feedback today, that's okay. It's your company. You're going to do whatever the hell you want to do with it. Just listen to the feedback you get and process the feedback and decide what is the right course of action for you. Not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money. Raising money doesn't guarantee success. So please do not be obsessed about funding. So Aditya, you are on.
Hello, everyone. If I want to move to the next slide, Okay. So way back in 2016, I was expecting my first child, and that is when I decided to be an active participant in the growth journey of my child. But when I scouted out for alternatives, that how will I get to know what's happening in the school of my child, in the life of my child, what is he doing in school? In India, I didn't find any great alternatives. That is when I identified this place and decided to go about it. That is how the idea of WASM came to me. So at WASM, our aim is to make learning awesome. We focus on four basic things. First is academics. Every parent in India and otherwise, they want to know what is happening in school. Can they do anything better? How do they ensure that a child spends adequate time on studies? The teacher also wants to engage with parents because they understand that ensuring that a child grows is not a single man's job. Both the parents and the teachers need to come together. Principals want to ensure that the students are studying in a safe environment in schools, and the owner has to manage all these three things by managing his budget, and if possible, maybe drive revenue. These are the four pillars that on which WASM is built, the need that we suffice. So when we went about it, we scouted for alternatives in the market, but they were plagued by some challenges. Either they were very hardware dependent, or they required very highly trained teachers to execute it, or they were very costly or difficult to use. So we decided to leverage the mobile revolution that India is going through right now. An entire ecosystem of apps is getting created, like Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato. So we decided to piggyback on that, because a person might not be so literate to enter a Cisco web conference, but he can simply do a video chat using WhatsApp. So that is the technology we wanted to piggyback on, and that is the reason we have been able to scale very fast.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So how does this work? We have focused on some very basic things. So first is, under the academic pillar, we have created a bank of reference material which will give access to the teachers. So they can simply pick it at a chapter level, topic level, and share it with the students. Second, they can create their own quizzes and share it with parents so that they can play that quiz with the students. So now at school, which doesn't have money to invest in physical hardware and install projectors in school, can use the flipped learning concept, use classrooms for dialogues and teaching, and send these learning materials in the house of the children. Because thanks to Geo and cheap internet, we have mobile phones in most of the homes in India. So we are using the flipped learning concept. And in spite of all this digital learning, ultimate learning in India and otherwise also is based on simple updates on classwork and homework. So using our platform, parents get to know about these small updates. Second pillar, next slide. Second pillar is one-to-one communication, where we ensure that teacher pass on simple feedback to parents on a need basis. So suppose the student requires special inputs or has a great talent, teacher can reach out to them without worrying that my personal details will be getting shared with parents. Best part, we have also integrated SMS in vernacular languages, because India is still going through that change. There are still a lot of parents who prefer SMS-based communication and might prefer if these updates are coming in the vernacular language. So we wanted to create a democratic solution which fitted in a larger audience, trying to increase our target market. Third pillar is safety pillar. If you could move to the next slide. So here again, the idea was to use a hardware-free solution, a solution which doesn't require heavy investment, is easy to service even in remote areas of the country, and is very easy to use. So first piece is bus tracking. Here we have used the Ola Uber technology, where schools don't invest in physical hardware, can use simple mobile phones to enable a geo-fenced based push notification enabled geo-tracking mechanism. Second piece is we have leveraged in-app mobile notifications, in-app attendance, where a teacher can use a mobile phone to take attendance and parent get updates that your child is absent. So they don't have to invest in biometric devices or RFID chips, which are difficult to service and are very costly in an Indian context. Third piece, very simple but very efficient, is enough fees collection, where students don't have to carry fees to schools and parents sitting at their luxury can pay the fee. Last piece is growth, where we help school to create their own referral programs, like how in this digital first India, every person, every app like Uber, Ola, Swiggy are creating their own referral programs to drive admissions using the existing user base. So we are encouraging schools, use your current parents to drive admissions, because that is the cheapest source of revenue. Second, when they get a referral, you have to engage with your leads. If you're not engaging with your leads, you lose those leads. So we have given them this engagement platform where they can engage with people who have done an admission inquiry, so that chances of conversions increase. And last piece is watermark pictures. Any communication on the platform gets watermarked. So if as a parent I'm receiving a picture from a school, it carries the name of the school. It could be a picture on convocation, it could be a normal yoga instruction class. So next slide. So we have been able to reach more than 1,000 schools. These are all paying customers right now. And so that sort of proves our product market fit. 80%, we have been able to retain 80% of our clients. And today we have more than 15,000 teachers and 350,000 learners on our platform. Our current annualized run rate is CR. And last year we clocked 1.4 CR in revenue.
And convert 1.4 crores to dollars for me here. It's like $200,000.
0.2, yeah, 0.2 million. So yeah, 200,000.
And you're looking to do about $500,000 this year.
No, so
or you're at a 500,000 run rate. So what is your business model? What are you charging for right now? And how are you charging?
Right. So I charge schools and it is up to the schools now whether they want to bear this entire cost, because it helps them drive admissions, because they are seen as a digital first and it's very affordable versus the hardware alternatives, or they decide to charge parents also, because parents don't mind paying even premium versus what we are charging them. So we are charging them something as low as 10 rupees per student per month.
Okay. And that 10 rupees they could also be charging the parents, is what you're saying. So either the school pays the 10 rupees per student per month, or they charge the parents. Aditya, did you drop off? So I think what you're doing is fascinating. There's a lot of questions that are coming to my mind, including the segmentation of the schools. What type of schools? Can you hear me, Aditya? You dropped off for a moment there, no? Aditya, do you hear me? Denny, you cannot hear me, or you cannot hear Aditya? Can you guys hear me in the room? You can hear me, but not Aditya. Okay, got it. All right, so Aditya, I'm going to start giving you some feedback here, and then when you dial in, we can talk more. So the first question that comes to my mind is, you have 1,000+ schools already in the program that are paying customers, paying monthly subscription fees and so forth. Aditya, your call has dropped, huh?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm really sorry.
You're back.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm back.
So what I was saying is that you have over 1,000 schools that are paying customers, paying either 10 rupees per month per student, or charging the parents of their students 10 rupees per month per student, correct? That's the model you said, yeah?
Yeah, they're paying us.
Now, what is the segmentation of these 1,000+ schools? Like, there are millions of schools in India. Where are you seeing the traction? What kinds of schools do you see the traction in?
So there are two categories of schools. So if these are schools which charge a lot of fees to, either they're new, they have just set up their schools, so they are looking at a differentiator, or these are old schools which don't have the money to invest in hardware and rebrand their schools and offer cutting-edge digital services. So these are the two kinds of schools.
And what about, is it urban schools mostly?
So if you pick up a city, typically first we are able to get around the city, like schools around the city, and then we enter the city.
Around the city, I see.
So the early adopters are the schools around the city, and then we are able to get into the city. So even in Calcutta, where we started off, we got a lot of traction areas outside the city, like Parasat, Kalyani, North 24 Parganas. And now we have been able to crack the biggest schools of the city, like Julian Day.
I see. And these 1,000 schools, how much of that is in Calcutta, and then where else are you seeing penetration?
So around 350 schools are in West Bengal, another 150 in Bihar and Jharkhand, more than 100 in Northeast, and the rest are scattered. So we are present in Lucknow, we are present in Nagpur, Bhopal and Raipur.
And what is the sales process? How are you selling to these 1,000 schools?
So we decided initially that we wanted an on-ground change management team, a team which would handle relationships, because the competitive mode that we have right now and our USP and our distinct advantage is having an on-ground team. So today, when Paytm wanted to partner the largest edtech company in East India, they talk to us. So they know that we can get them into 1,000 schools. So if today a new robotics company is setting a shop in East India, they first come and approach us that can you get us into those schools. So we are seeing a lot of these. So we are like a gatekeeper to those schools right now. So if you want, so that was the idea, that we cannot be just sitting in one city and selling on phone, because the cost of customer acquisition would be low, but there would be little or no chance to upsell and get more extraction from those clients.
Okay. All right. I'm getting a sense of the business. So let's actually go to your questions, and I will. To raise additional funds, Aditya, we're going to need to come up with the funding pitch, and that has specific, parameters. Investors are looking for specific things. As I told you, you were at the Calcutta session that I was presenting at recently, right?
Right.
Investors are trying to go from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years. So your current growth trajectory is wonderful. You're going from 1.4 crores to 3.5 crores. That's great. But it's not showing. You have to, in the pitch that you make, you're going to have to show that you have a strategy of how you're going to build a $100 million company in 7 years, let's say. So that's the pitch that we're going to have to work together to create, and I'll be happy to, help you through that process. Just hang on. I will explain how to use the 1 million program in just a moment. Before we go there, you can basically get all the mentoring you need through 1 million. That's why we do 1 million. So, and you can access all our network and everything through this program virtually from Calcutta. Absolutely no problem. So by the way, that is true about all of you. In the room today, we have people from all over the world. Olu is visiting from Nigeria. I just met him yesterday in the Bay Area, but Olu, when he goes back to Nigeria, can continue using the 1 million program from Nigeria. There's no problem. So that is the beauty of a global virtual accelerator that we have created, where you can access mentoring, you can access the network completely from wherever the hell you are. Okay, let me Abhijit is not presenting today, it seems. Abhijit, are you still in the room, or have you no, you're here. Your slides are here, but you're not ready to present, or you're not ready to dial in. Is that the issue? So I'm going to skip through, Abhijit, your slides, and then he's not able to call in. Okay, got it. Let me see what else is here. Oof, that's a lot of slides. Okay, well, let me explain to you how to use 1 million, and that will answer the questions Aditya has about mentoring. Before we do that, I just want to ask you to do one thing for us, which is refer 1 million to serious entrepreneurs in your network who are looking for help, who are looking for mentoring, who are looking for all the guidance needed to get from point A to point B in the journey of an early stage startup. So everything resource-wise you're going to find at 1Mby1M.com. There is a free blog series. Just by following the blogs, you will learn a lot. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is something that you can also use to learn methodology. We have 12 volumes of case study-based books, and you can double-click down into any topic. So one of the topics I promised you I was going to talk about is bootstrapping with a paycheck. Many of you in the room today are bootstrapping with a paycheck, and it's a very classic scenario where you have a job, you're getting a paycheck, and you start to work nights and weekends to start putting together an idea, validating that idea with customers, understanding how to do market sizing, perhaps even writing the MVP, and so on and so forth. This is a very common scenario. We thoroughly encourage this scenario because it's a very good situation when you have to pay your bills, right? This is the normal plight of us all, is that we have to pay our bills to sustain ourselves and our families. So given that that is a reality, it's perfectly okay if in the beginning of your journey you are holding on to your job and doing nights and weekends, starting a company. So if you have any questions about bootstrapping with a paycheck, I'll be happy to answer now or later. And you also have a book on this topic with case studies of a dozen plus entrepreneurs who have succeeded using bootstrapping with a paycheck, including very, very successful, very, big companies. And then we also have a module in the curriculum, in the online curriculum on bootstrapping with a paycheck. So it's a process that we wholeheartedly support and encourage. Bootstrapping using services is another one that we're seeing coming up all the time in how entrepreneurs are creatively getting themselves off the ground. So these are just some pointers. These roundtables happen every week. As I said, this is the 455th roundtable. So, it's become a fixture actually in the entrepreneurship ecosystem of the world. And, many, many, many entrepreneurs have attended these sessions, pitched at these sessions, and are learning from these sessions. Our full acceleration program is a $1,000 annual membership fee that is 1M1M premium. We offer you extensive methodology guidance. We help you learn what you need to learn. Whichever topic is you need to learn, we would be able to help you if through the curriculum. For example, if customer acquisition is your primary issue, we have curriculum on that. If positioning is your primary issue, we have curriculum on that. If financing is your primary issue, we have curriculum on that. So you can learn what is necessary. For example, in Aditya's case, Aditya, you need to learn how to put a financing pitch together. We have curriculum on that. You can start learning through that curriculum and start putting your pitch together and iterate with me in the premium program, where we do private roundtables, similar format as these using WebEx. Basically, we're going to go over your pitch and I'll give you feedback. You will iterate, and once the pitch is ready, I will introduce you to investors. So to be introduced to investors, you have to be ready. We will help you get ready, but you're going to have to put in the work and iterate with me so that you can be ready for discussions on financing with the right people. The other thing that I point out, just as you're looking for product market fit and you're working on defining a customer segment, a positioning, parameterizing what an ideal customer looks like for you. The kinds of questions I was asking Aditya just now is like what kind of schools are the right customer base for you, etc. Once you figure that out, you start feeling like you have product market fit. There is also a component of that in finding investor entrepreneur fit. What kinds of investors are willing to invest in what you are looking to do or what you're doing? You have to find that. If you go to the seed capital section of our blog, you will see that there are tons of investor interviews. The podcast that we have has tons of investor interviews. Out of all that, we have to find, out of our community of hundreds of investors, we have to find the subset that applies to you, depending on your geography, your industry sector, your stage. All of those are factors in figuring out who is the right investor for you. So that's going to be the process for you to join 1 million by 1 million and work on your business through 1 million by 1 million, and then talking to investors and so forth. If that's the direction you want to go, you can also bootstrap. We don't force you to go to investors. We're happy to help you just build the business and continue to bootstrap. That's fine too. It depends on what your business is. Does your business have the fundability characteristics, or does it need to be bootstrapped? We'll figure that out as we work with you and advise you accordingly. So that's 1 million by 1 million premium. Go to the 1M1M self-assessment on the website. It's a free set of questions. These are questions that investors will ask you. And these are questions that we want you to prepare to be able to answer. they are not as straightforward as you would think. There is quite a bit of methodology involved. For example, when you talk about TAM, what we are looking for is a bottom-up TAM analysis. And that is a discipline in itself. You have to learn how to do a bottom-up TAM model. And I'm happy to teach you that through the curriculum as well as through coaching. But it's something that is a requirement. If you want to talk to investors, it's a requirement. You have to have a sound bottom-up TAM analysis model. That's just an example. There are many other pieces like that that you have to be able to present to be able to successfully raise funding. If you get stuck on methodology points, like this example of bottom-up TAM, if you're not familiar with this, you can learn that from the curriculum. So 1M by 1M Basic is a perfectly fine way for you to start using 1 million by 1 million. It's just $99 a month. Material is all available. You can learn at your own time, at your own pace. What you don't get with 1M by 1M Basic, but you do get with Premium, is the coaching. So the project-based coaching is only part of Premium, not of Basic, but curriculum you have access to with just Basic. Anyway, you can dig around on the website and look at the program, look at what to expect from Premium, what to expect from Basic. There are FAQs, video FAQs, full description of the curriculum. The curriculum is case study based. There are over 1,000 successful entrepreneurs who have shared generously their journeys, and we have been able to build this curriculum based on a large number of case studies of how people have put one foot before the other and built successful companies. These include over 100 unicorn companies, 400 plus venture funded companies, another 400 plus bootstrap success stories. So there are many, many, many nuances to building a company, and we've tried to cover most of that through these different case studies. And you have modules synthesizing the lessons, and the curriculum is divided into core and elective. The core has the methodology elements, so positioning, bootstrapping, financing, customer acquisition, customer validation, market sizing, all that is in core. The electives are industry segment specific, so online education is one, mobile and social is one, healthcare IT is one, cloud computing is one, etc. E-commerce is one. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startup. So I'm delighted to see this presentation from Aditya, where he has product market fit. He's in revenue. There's a customer acquisition part that he has already figured out, etc. So this is a scenario where it's going to be viable to take it to the next level and put more resources onto this project. So if you're trying to raise money, bootstrapping first and getting to product market fit is essential in our estimation. We also have a lot of clout in the media, so you're welcome to use that. If you're part of the Premium program, you have access to our network of media analysts and our channels. We have a tremendous amount of footprint out there, as you know, so we can get the word out about what you're doing. Upcoming free roundtable, September 12th, 19th, and 26th. Next rendezvous is at Cafe Boroni on September 18th, and the full roster of the upcoming, I'm around all along through the fall, September, October, November, I'm around, so there will be roundtables, there will be rendezvous on regular schedules. Wednesday, every other week, there will be rendezvous. Thursday mornings will be roundtables every week, so all that is perfectly on the normal schedule. After Thanksgiving, I have a lot of travel, but we will, do what we can in the meantime. All right, so that's that. We are back to Q&A mode, so there are a lot of people in the room. You're very welcome to keep calling back or keep dialoguing in the public chat. There have been quite a bit of Q&A already in the beginning of the session. We can just resume Q&A, networking, tell us who you are, what are you working on. Don't send me private chats, please do. This is a public chat session. Munish, you're sending me a lot of private chats. Your question is, how long is the coaching for in terms of X amount of time allocated to the startup? Munish, we have private roundtables on a regular basis. Every week we have private roundtables, sometimes multiple weeks, unless I'm traveling. So if a startup needs coaching time, there has never been an issue about getting that time that the startup needs. So there is no hard and fast rule on how long is the coaching for. Your 1 million by 1 million membership, premium membership, is a 1-year membership. During that time, you can attend as many roundtables as you want. You can pitch at as many roundtables as you want and get coaching. However, at each session, you will get homework. So you're going to need some time to do that homework, process the feedback, iterate, run the experiments. And a lot of these experiments that I'm going to ask you to go run is not in the labs, but in the fields. You're going to have to go talk to customers, understand what their pain points are, validate what is the buying trigger, et cetera, et cetera. There's like a lot of nuances to achieving product market fit. So you're basically in an iterative cycle where you get coaching, but you're also taking that coaching and going and implementing exercises in executing the business. Does that answer your question, Manish? Anybody else? Any other question? Introductions, if you want to introduce yourselves and what you're doing. And although you wanted to talk about partnerships, so and you wanted to dial in, you're very welcome to dial in, by the way. So while you guys are dialing in or asking more questions, let me also introduce you to Irina Patterson. Irina at 1Mby1M.com. She is your contact from the 1 million by 1 million team to ask questions about the program. So you can contact Irina and get any of your questions answered about the program after this session. Abby's question is, B2C really hard to grow with bootstrapping? Well, the reality is B2C is not financeable without bootstrapping. So you have no choice but to get to some level of traction with bootstrapping, because no investor will invest in your company unless you show some traction. B2C businesses are very hard to fund without traction. So the answer to your question is yes, it's hard to grow with bootstrapping, but you don't have a choice because no one will invest in a B2C business without seeing some traction. Anybody else? Questions, comments, introductions? Yes, no? Shall we adjourn the session then? If you do not have more questions, then we've pretty much come to the end of the session. Abhi has more questions, okay? Is it required to show only number of customers or number of paying customers for B2C? It depends on your business model, Abhi. If you are in a transaction or a subscription business model, you're going to need to show paying customers. If you're in an advertising-based model, then you're going to need to see millions of users that you are monetizing through advertising. So B2C has many different nuances. Hema, B2B and enterprise software startups, what is the best way to get traction? The best way to get traction is for the beginning just by direct selling, but you have to really position very crisply Positioning makes a huge difference, how you position and how you manage your early customer engagement. What I was telling you earlier about managing the POC process, we actually follow something in our program called Sales 2.0 in the B2B customer acquisition. It's a very effective method for managing a customer pipeline, and I would strongly recommend that you implement that method. If you start doing the curriculum, you can learn the method very quickly and very easily. You're very welcome, Abby. Anybody else? Olu, how should early stage startup approach partnerships, other tech companies and research institutions and governing associations? Well, the question is, what's in it for the partner? So if you are asking a partner to resell your software or your product, then you're going to have to give them a commission that is attractive for them. Unless you're basically giving them a product that will make their ability to deliver their service more effective. So in your case, since you told me yesterday what you are doing, let me explain that to people in the room. Olu has a product which is kind of a time management product for life coaches. So he wants to have other life coaches use his product and basically sell his product to their customers. So in this scenario, you may be able to get away with just by explaining the value proposition to other life coaches who may want to use your product to work with their customers, just because you're providing them with a very handy tool that may make them much more effective in their coaching practices, and you may not have to give them commissions. So it really depends on what is the basis of the partnership. And if you come up with generally speaking, if you come up with specific partnership opportunities and you're trying to figure out how to set that up, just come back and work with me. And if you're in the premium program, just come back and work with me, and I'll try to coach you through that. Anybody else? You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to adjourn the session for today. Keep an eye on the upcoming touch points. So the rendezvous is on 18th September, and the next 3 roundtables at 12th, 19th, 26th. Please go ahead and book your slots for discussions, and we will take it from there. Thank you very much for coming today. Bye.